activity number 4 is called Battle of the Germs, and the purpose of this activity is that it teaches students to identify transmission routes for bacteria or germs, and again, disease prevention techniques. And it follows very closely with activity number 3, which was called Germs Away. So what you want to do with activity number 4 is pull out the Battle of the Germs activity card, which again comes with the kit, and you would photocopy the sheets into however many copies you need, and split your class into 2 groups. So they're going to have 2 teams that are sitting in groups, and give each of them some unfortunately cards and fortunately cards that are blank, and get them to come up with some scenarios of their own that are unfortunately. So you're wanting them to come up with potential infection scenarios. Now, if they use some of the same scenarios that were in the Germs Away activity, that's fine, because the point of it is that we try to come up with ways to prevent the spread of germs. So as a group, each team sits and comes up with their own scenarios and writes them on the unfortunately cards. Then, when they're both ready and have written a few, however many you decide is most appropriate, then get them to sit and kind of face each other. And team number 1 would read out their very first unfortunately card. And team number 2 would then have to sit for a minute and talk amongst themselves and think of what they think is the best, fortunately, solution to it. So again, a way that that germs can be stopped from the scenario on the unfortunately card. They can write it down and then read it back to the first group. Then it's team 2's turn to read out their unfortunately scenario to team number 1. And again, then team number 1 consults with each other, writes down a fortunately solution, and reads it back. And it's kind of an opportunity for both teams to kind of be thinking on the spur of the moment and thinking critically about ways that they can prevent the spread of germs. So that is how the scenario and the activity has been written up in the binder. There is also another possible adaptation to this. Sometimes there are certain situations that are coming up in your classroom, in your school, or in your community that you think this is a really great time to address it, because again, it's an infection control issue. And so you are planning to do the Germs Away activity. If you as the facilitator want to add in a couple of extra scenarios, you could also use these cards to create them yourself. And again, you have to come up with the fortunately solution. And then when you're doing the Germs Away activity where the students are having to pair cards, you could throw these in as well. So for example, if you had a classroom where students were sharing one drink, so they were buying a bottle of something from the vending machine, opening it, one person was taking a sip, and it was spreading through the whole class, and you thought, you know, that's such a great vector or a great way for germs to spread amongst the class, and I really want to talk about this while we're talking about infection control and doing this whole Germs Away curriculum. You could take out your Battle of the Germs card, write up the unfortunately scenario about, you know, someone opening a drink and sharing it, and then coming up with the fortunately, and maybe the fortunately solution to that is that every student has a little cup and pours a little bit of their portion into their cup and drinks it from that. So again, it's an opportunity for you to address issues, infection control issues that you are seeing locally that you want to address specifically in your class.